Welcome to my podcast. We are on episode 7. Last week I told you Guddu and BB's story. I mentioned that BB had a very deep impact, not just on Guddu's psyche, but also on my entire life. BB, of course, was not aware of the extent of her butterfly effect on our lives. Most of her actions impacted us very indirectly, and I'm sure she has no idea how the course of our lives has changed due to her actions. A lot of what I have concluded could be called conjecture or hearsay. For me, it is wisdom in hindsight. I have put together the pieces of the past to make sense of my present. So my Nani died at a relatively young age, quite unexpectedly, and Mom had to board a train during her 5th month of pregnancy when she was carrying me. By the time my parents reached their destination, Guddu's feet were swollen to more than twice their size. The long journey in the general compartment of a train had been a difficult one for her. Ajay and Guddu concluded that it would be better if Guddu just stayed in Punjab for the rest of the pregnancy. This was the first caveat that was to affect the quality of my life later. After the cremation and ceremonies, Guddu wondered if she should stay in her Maika, but she felt it would be rude to not go to her in-laws' place. So she went to her in-laws' place. There, my dad's older brother Raj unintentionally played villain in my life. The second caveat. You see, Raj's temperament was, in spite of being very educated, abrasive at best. Being a school teacher and later the headmaster, Raj had power over his subjects, so to say. He was very well respected in the village as the most educated person there. Just like the proverbial frog in the well, he thought he knew it all. I had known Raj uncle to be extremely rude and hurtful when talking to others, especially those who he thought were beneath him. There were plenty of times his words had reduced me to tears. So it is no surprise he said what he said. So here is what happened. Whilst the couple, Ajay and Guddu, went to their village family home after the funeral, Ajay had to finally leave to go back to work. So he handed over a prescription that had been given by the doctor during a checkup before Nani's death. The sudden turn of events had left Ajay no time to fill the prescription that was mainly nutritional supplements for Guddu and her baby. Having had a horrible abortion that nearly cost her her life, and later giving birth alone and sad, had cost Guddu her health. She was quite weak when she had gotten pregnant with me. The nutritional supplements were a must if she wanted a healthy baby. So Ajay handed Raj the prescription, requesting him to get the medicines for Guddu. Living in a village meant having no medical shop around. When some man from the family went to the city, he would get whatever was required. The women, especially pregnant ones, did not just go gallivanting around town on their own. They lived in a typical conservative village. At the time, Raj took the prescription from his brother. But in typical villagey, sarcastic fashion, he waited till his brother had left to taunt his sister-in-law. "Oh, so you need special supplements, is it? The rest of us have wives who manage pregnancy and childbirth without all these special airs." His taunt went something on those lines. Guddu, being Guddu, burned with humiliation and rage. The taunt stung, and Guddu had her pride. Her reply to her brother-in-law's taunt was, "Even if you bring these now, Dear brother-in-law, I will not have them. Raj, being Raj, did not care, and thus my fate was sealed. I was born anemic and weak with food allergies. Now, I don't know how much of my physical weakness and cognitive memory retention challenges were a result of this congenital malnourishment, but if research is any indication, then this malnourishment at the fetal stage did affect the rest of my life. After birth, I had intense colic, presumably due to the food allergies to what my mother ate and then converted to the breast milk that I drank. That affected my ability to digest the milk. So an already malnourished fetus becomes a baby with delicate digestion who cannot absorb all the nutrients that are so important for its development in these early stages. Catch 22. At one point, my mom says my tummy was so bad that she drank only black tea to make my tummy feel better. Not very nutritious by any standard for a growing baby. So this is how Uncle Raj and Masi Bibi started the domino effect that made the quality of my life and health tumble. This malnourishment and reduced physical as well as cognitive development meant that I was the runt of the litter. I was treated differently due to my reduced abilities. Weak hai bechari, my family would say. I was ridiculed for not being able to remember my tables, punished by teachers for not studying, not doing the homework, when I could not remember the answers in class. It did not matter that I had indeed read the homework lesson. I could not remember things like other kids. I could not run around like the other kids. I would get tired within a couple of minutes of walking or running, no matter how hard I tried. To their credit, Ajay and Guddu did take me to doctors at different times for my extreme fragility. Ye itni weak kyun hai? They would ask the doctors. But all of the doctors told them the same thing, that I was perfectly fine and they were just being paranoid. Which was not the case. It is so easy to check for anemia. All you have to do is look at the eyes. But none of the doctors bothered to even do that. Supplements during any stage of childhood would have improved the quality of my life. A blood test would have revealed exactly what I needed. Of course, that wouldn't make up for the nutritional deficiency during crucial development stages as a fetus, but at least it would have helped. Instead, it would take a decade and a half before a doctor would finally offer the correct diagnosis and start treatment. So anyway, Raj did not bring the supplements and Guddu did not take any. The couple, meaning Ajay and Guddu, were, in typical Indian style, craving a male child. When Guddu finally gave birth to me, no one had the heart to tell her that she had given birth to yet another female baby. The family simply did not tell her the gender of the baby after I was born. So not only was I a disappointment in health and intelligence, I was also a disappointment in the gender department. By the time Guddu was ready to bring her babies back to her husband, Ajay had been given a different assignment by the government. This time, he was to head another rural project. The bungalow assigned to Ajay was a rambling one, constructed by an Englishman during the British reign. It was then owned by a Parsi gentleman who, in turn, I guess sold it to the government. One ascended a majestic flight of stairs to arrive at a huge central courtyard. This courtyard was surrounded on 3 sides by the house. Ajay and Guddu bought a goat to feed their new baby because of how delicate my tummy was. The bungalow was so big that Ajay and Guddu let the servant family occupy the entire left wing of the house. Ajay and Guddu lived in the right wing, and the back portion was used for storage. I do have memories from that house, but I don't know how many are just reconstructed memories from what I heard and how many are authentic. One servant girl served as my nanny and would take me for morning and evening walks. She would play with me all day. So here I was, after the neglect of my extended family, being pampered in the lap of luxury, so to say, in Vankas. Dad's assignment was in the Thane district of Maharashtra, and this is where we lived for the next few years. But more about that later. Until then, this is the story of my life, every word true, so far as I know. Please share my story if you think it could help someone. Goodbye.